Action and comedy, they're both very hard. Filming action is hard because it's painful to do and it's quite laborious, and you need to get all these different shots to fit the jigsaw puzzle together. You need a lot of coverage, and you need to be very precise with what you're doing because some of it can be dangerous. Whereas with comedy, you kind of need to be like free and organic and throw things and just see what sticks and not be that precious and just be in the moment and, try different things. So they're very opposite in that way, yet they're both very difficult to do.
Welcome to Film Forums. My name is Matt Malpica Reifschneider, and of course, I am joined by the undisputed star of one of those most incredible runs of action films of the last 2 decades, the star of Accident Man, Avengement, One Shot, and of course, Castle Falls, and of course, the upcoming Accident Man, which actually just releases this week at the time of recording, Accident Man, Hitman's Holiday. I'm joined by Mr. Scott Adkins. Thank you so much for joining me today, sir.
No problem, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk with you. I'm sure that all of our viewers and everything are going to be excited to hear what you kind of have to say, particularly about your latest film. So, and that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about Accident Man, Hitman's Holiday, which does get a release here on October 14th in the US. So congratulations on the film. I found it to be a rousing success, more so even than the original. More action, more laughs, more outlandish characters. It's everything we'd want in a sequel. So congratulations on that.
Thanks a lot. I'm very happy to hear that you enjoyed it. Yeah, I do think it's an improvement on the original. Everything that worked on the original, we took that and amplified it and improved upon it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to everyone seeing it because I'm very proud of it.
Yeah. And I know for our viewers who may not know, you're very passionate about Accident Man. Enough so that on Hitman's Holiday and in the original one, you serve as its star, one of the producers, and a writer on the project. So I guess the first question I kind of want to ask is why did this Accident Man project really stand out for you?
I stumbled upon the comic book when I was about 14. It was in a shop that I didn't normally go in, and this obscure comic book was there, and I thought, oh, this looks good. And I took it home and I read it and I loved it. And I would reread it, throughout the years. And I saved it, always kind of thinking, wow, I'd love to play Mike Fallon and be the Accident Man. But, maybe somebody else will make the film. And it's a film I'd love to see, and nobody made it. And so when I started getting into the film business, and I guess it was around 2010, I thought, I'm going to try and see if I can get the rights to this and make it into a film. And luckily for me, the rights were available. Although I've since found out that a big time producer had them for a bit and didn't get the film made, luckily for me. But I met the writers and they were like, wow, you look exactly like Mike Fallon. You're perfect for the role. You should do it. And I wrote the script with one of my best mates, Stu Small, that I've known since I was 16. And we wrote it together and we got it off to Sony through Craig Baumgarten and my manager, Eric Kritzer. And they were like, yeah, let's make it. And so we made it. And then quite soon after that, it was successful and they wanted to do the sequel. And, the pandemic didn't help and there was a regime change at Sony. But now here we are talking about the sequel. And yeah, of course, it's a very personal project to me because it's something I've thought about since I was a kid. And I've written it and produced it, starring in it, worked very hard on it. And that's why I'm doing as much press as possible for it.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate that you would even take little old me in for the press junket for this.
Absolutely, spread the word.
Absolutely, I'm a huge fan of this. In fact, just as a kind of a side note, I was laughing at my wife and I went and saw Bullet Train, and I leaned over to her about halfway through, and I was like, "They're really trying to make this Accident Man, aren't they?"
Wow, yeah, that's interesting you say that. I went to watch Bullet Train and I loved it. Yeah, and it is very much the same sort of tone, isn't it? I know David Leitch going back years. I remember working on the Bourne Ultimatum and he was there stunt doubling Matt Damon. And I'm super happy for his success as a director and Chad Stahelski and all those guys. And yeah, the stunt community, we have the same sort of you look at what JJ's just done with Day Shift and what Chad's doing with John Wick. We know what's up. We know what sort of films we want to see made.
Oh, and you're speaking my language. Like when Day Shift came out, and of course you're in that movie too, and I was ecstatic to see you on that list. And it was, in my opinion, unfortunate that you had essentially kind of two scenes in that movie. Although I will tell you, stealing the gum joke, when the spitting the gum into the other person, killed me. That is the greatest joke in that movie. So
That's a good aim. I got a good aim.
you nailed it. I was laughing.
We were going to be at the end. Originally, in the original script, our characters came back at the end, but budget constraints made it so that we did not. But hopefully, if they do a sequel, we can come back.
Sequel, spin-off. Let's just have your characters be the leads for the spin-off. That's what I'm in for. Those brothers were delightful. So, and that actually kind of brings up a point that I kind of want to speak, because I do love the Accident Man series, and this particular entry, I love that there is that comedy element to it also. There's a lot of dry comedy, that British humor that's incorporated throughout. And every time I feel like you are doing comedy, whether it's the Day Shift or Accident Man, or even like Max Cloud, I actually was a huge fan of Max Cloud. I feel like you're nailing it. So what do you think is that magic balance between blending comedy and action?
I mean, I'm not sure I know. I think I've got a good sense of humor. It's like action and comedy, they're both very hard. Filming action is hard because it's painful to do and it's quite laborious, and you need to get all these different shots to fit the jigsaw puzzle together. You need a lot of coverage, and you need to be very precise with what you're doing, because some of it can be dangerous. Whereas with comedy, you kind of need to be like free and organic and throw things and just see what sticks, and not be that precious, and just be in the moment and, try different things. So they're very opposite in that way, yet they're both very difficult to do. You need time for both. You need time for the action, you need time for the comedy, because you can say what's on the page, but then you need a bit more time to just throw in some improvised lines and see if you can just catch something that's going to work. And you don't necessarily know what it is until you get it. I learned, like, on the Brothers Grimsby, that experience of working with Sacha Baron Cohen and seeing how they did the comedy. Basically, they had some writers throwing ideas in from off the stage, and just saying, say this, say that, try this, call him Ukrainian Ben Affleck, things like that. And you need a bit of time to get it right, which we definitely didn't have on Accident Man, but we tried. And certainly with Perry Benson and Sarah Chang, there were moments of improv.
Yeah, I think the humor does really, really work in Accident Man. Even the scene where the henchman keeps punching you and you're unaffected by it as a character just had me in tears. I was in stitches with that. I thought that was so good. So
yeah, I'm glad you like that, because the directors were saying, you need to have some blood. And I'm like, yeah, but we're filming this scene for the whole day. There's all this coverage, there's all these angles. If we keep on having to put blood on and then take it off, we're never going to make the day. Let's just say that this guy can't punch, even though he's massive. And that's how you end up with those decisions on these like tight budgets.
It was incredible. I thought that joke was incredible. And Sarah Chang is very funny. And I think that's great. And but even the first Accident Man, you're working with all of these great stars. Some of them you've worked with before, Michael J. White, and people like that. And this new film, Hitman's Holiday, features a slew of incredible talent in the cast around you. Ray Stevenson just is eating scenery alive. Andy Long shows up for one of the best fights I've seen all year on film. And then, of course, Sarah Chang just is stealing scenes with that larger than life character. I kind of wanted to know how you go about selecting the various stars to kind of surround yourself with as both an actor and a producer.
Well, obviously it was important to me to get people that can help me with the action, because if I'm working with someone that doesn't know how to do that, then that's difficult, because you end up doing more takes than you need to. It's harder on the body. We haven't got time to mess about either, or educate someone how to do it. So that lowers the pool of talent available. I knew that I wanted to work with Beau Fowler again, and we felt that he'd make a great Poco. And, Peter Lee Thomas, who comes in and plays Silas. Originally, that was a Dutch character. And then when we knew we had him, we made him American. Faisal, who plays Yendi, that was a different version of that character. And then when we thought, well, let's put him in it, we changed it because he's so big. So we have the characters, and then we kind of changed the characters once we knew which actor was going to play which part. And especially with Sarah, because originally that role, and I was never too sure about this, and I was kind of waiting to make my decision. But that part was written like a bit of a cutesy girl. Oh, hey, Mike, and all this. And then she turns into this animal and then goes all sweet again. And I wasn't too sure about it. And then when we cast Sarah, I had her read both versions, a grumpy one and the original version. And I said, no, we're going to go with the grumpy version, the mean, pissed off Sue Ling. I think that's the way to go. And she took it and she ran with it and created, as you say, a scene stealing character. But it might not have been that way if we hadn't made that crucial decision at the 11th hour. And that's how you've got to be in these movies. So things are changing all the time. I mean, if you do a low budget movie, independent film, you have control. You know, they're only giving you a certain amount of money, so you have a lot of control over that. You can make a lot of the decisions yourself. But at the same time, because of the low budget nature, you're dealing with a lot of chaos around. Things are changing all the time. Locations are falling through, you know, different things like that. So you've got your vision in your head, and that's always compromised anyway, just from budget constraints and time constraints. But, you know, pros and cons.
And actually that brings up a good point. I was shocked to see that the movie was taking place in Malta, because I think that's a really interesting location. How did you kind of choose on Malta?
So I get banished from London, which basically we felt, well, that means banished from England in the first one. It's no good going up to Scotland or over to Wales. I've got to leave the UK. So I wanted it to be anywhere other than England. And then when we found out there was a 33% tax break in Malta, I was like, oh, that seems like the best place. Then we write that it's just a stone's throw from Africa and Eastern Europe and Central Europe, and I can get anywhere from there. And, you know, we just make it work.
Yeah, you utilize it really well, those shots of doing it, and especially the brightness of it. Like there's bright colors in the Accident Man series just with that comic book vibe, but like I feel like the Malta one, you just had that bright sunlight and all those bright buildings, and I thought that was good. So
yeah, the first one, we specifically wanted it to be sort of East End London, dark and dirty, that sort of vibe, you know, a little bit dirty. It's not James Bond, it's in the gutter. And then for this, we definitely wanted to make it a lot more colorful and loud and brash and vibrant. And so it was perfect for that. Yeah. And the DP did a brilliant job. Richard Bell, he did a great job, because he has to do all that, make it look great on a very tight schedule, and to help us be able to shoot kind of 360 in the fights. So he has to figure out the lighting in a way that he's not too precious about it, but it's going to look good from every angle, which is really not easy to do.
Yeah, and there's a lot of interesting angles and energy that's brought to these fight scenes, like visually speaking, which I think is great, by the Kirby brothers, who, you know, seem like they're, at least, you know, when you look into the IMDb page or whatever, look like they're fresh faces on the scene. Now, I've read that they've done a lot of short films, and I've watched a few of those throughout the time. But like, how did you kind of come to the Kirby brothers?
I'm going to take full credit. I'm going to take full credit just for spotting talent and just being like, wow, these guys are good. I saw what they were doing, and they did this proof of concept short for a film, a full feature that they're probably going to do next if they get it sorted. And I think they will. And I was like, guys, this is great. Do you want to direct Accident Man 2? And they were perfect for the job, because George Kirby is a professional stuntman, and I met him on Doctor Strange. He was the double for Benedict Cumberbatch. Him and his brother, they've done loads of YouTube shorts. They've got a great visual style. They're English. They understand the sensibility for that. And they're very much about the comedy and the comedic side of things, making exciting yet entertaining movies, like a little bit like, you know, like Edgar Wright or Matthew Vaughn, that sort of tone. And that's exactly what I wanted for the first one, to be honest. And so they were perfect for this.
That's amazing. Do you feel like that relationship with them is interesting, but being both a producer and the star? Do you feel like how do you make that communication work?
Well, it's difficult. What, between me and me, or between me and them?
Both.
I have a word with myself about, listen, you're going to go over budget. And then I'm like, yeah, but screw you. We're going to make the film look good. No. With the directors, it's not easy for them, you know, coming to direct a film where your producer is also the writer and the star. Yeah. I mean, that's a bit of a bad situation, isn't it? But no, the script was already written, but they came in and they made some great choices with that, and we changed some structural bits to probably make it a bit tighter and a bit more fast-paced, which was great. And they had some amazing ideas, and it was positive whole way around. No egos, just whatever the best idea is the one we're going to go with. And if we disagreed on what the best idea was, we just, we talked it out until we agreed. Yeah. Until they did it my way.
Yeah, exactly right. The communication always goes both ways, but the flow of traffic goes one. So
yeah, there you go.
There you go. Well, that's good. That's good to kind of know. And then in terms of, you obviously build a lot of great relationships. I actually interviewed Dolph Lundgren for Castle Falls last year, and he had only great things to say about you. And you get to work with a lot of people the same. Again, do you feel like the Kirby brothers would be a relationship that you could do that again? Are they Accident Man 3? Is that on the docket?
Yeah, I'd love to do Accident Man 3. I'd love to work with those two again. I mean, I think they're gonna go far. So I might lose them. Might lose them to the bigger budgets, but hopefully they can throw me a bone and put me in one of a Marvel movie that they end up doing or something. But no, it was a great experience, and they're great guys and they're extremely talented. And I do believe that they're going to do very well for themselves. It's just, yeah. I mean, this film, it proves that, and they just delivered every step of the way. They really did, because it was a leap of faith, and it wasn't an easy shoot. But yeah, they always delivered.
And kind of even going on that is that I know that there's a lot of speed for these kinds of films that are being made, and you make a lot of them. I think in the last 2 or 3 years, you've got 5 or 6 movies coming out. It's incredible to kind of see.
I don't think I've been that busy lately.
I feel like you're busy all the time. And I was actually going to ask you, as you prep for a movie, especially the stunt heavy movies and that toll on your body, how do you go about preparing for multiple movies or anything at one time?
I'm always in shape. I like to train. I'm talking to you here from my gym. So I don't need motivation to train. It's more about getting your head right for the abuse that you're about to put your body through. Accident Man, that's 22-day shoot. We had the first week was pretty much fighting the whole time. And then I have 1 day off, and then I'm back fighting. And I hurt my knee in the first week. So you got to imagine that I'll wake up on the morning of a fight sequence I'm dreading it because I know it's going to suck. And we've got to push hard and get as much action as we can and not lose bits because we ran out of time. And I'm pushing the crew hard, and the crew end up hating me. Why is this guy always shouting all the time? I want the film to be good. I'm passionate about it. So I've lost my train of thought, but it's just, you get your brain straight for the abuse that you're about to put yourself through.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. And that's what it always kind of baffles me, is that people can keep all of that straight in their head, and being able to say and obviously you're incredible at being able to embed character and storytelling into action sequences through your acting or through whatever you need. I feel like even in Accident Man here, we're getting that storytelling through it. And so dibs to you for being able to pull that off. So
thanks, man. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I'm a huge fan of movie franchises. I'm going to be straight up. And I like to ask this question of all my interviewees, is that if you could go back and play a character one more time for another movie, which character would you choose?
Boyka. No, yeah. I fancy another crack at Boyka, yeah. Yeah.
I think we would all love to see another crack at
Boyka. Yeah. Got a good idea, actually. We've got a good script out there. I don't know what they're messing about at. We just need to make it. It's out of my hands. So I'm going to put it out there in the open. There is a script for a new Boyka film, and it's great. And they won't let me make it. Why? Because you all downloaded the films for free. Only got yourselves to blame. There you go.
I will tell you, though, as an aside for that, you did a video when the fourth Boyka film came out, and I think you went to a Walmart and you were like, this is a bargain, right? And all of my friends and I now say that every time we go buy a film, we're like, this is a bargain, right? Like to buy this film and support it that way. So.
Imagine the pain that I've been through making that movie. The sweat, the tears, the blood, the misery. And then someone's like, I'll just download this for free. And then I'm going to put a comment on IMDb saying I downloaded it for free and it was shit low budget. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, thanks guys, right? Like,
yeah, thanks for that.
That's amazing. It
wouldn't be low budget if you were paying for it, you little scrote.
Yeah. And I will tell you, like, that's the same way. I know you've been championing this idea of purchasing media.
It's not got any better though, has it? Let's be honest.
Unfortunately not. And as you can see behind me, I'm a huge collector. I collect everything on Blu-ray. Physical media is my thing.
Imagine going into a restaurant and getting a meal and eating the whole meal, cleaning the plate, and then going, I didn't like that. I don't think I'm going to pay for it.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane to me. I am 100% with you on that. And I'm dreaming of a day where we can get a Ninja 3 out there, because I still think Ninja 2 Shadow of a Tear is one of the greatest.
I've got a great idea for Ninja 3, which will never see the light of day. But anyway, we've got Accident Man now. So hopefully people can support this one. And it really helps if people go out there and they legitimately get it from the correct places. Just support me if you can, and it really makes a difference. And that way we can have another one, because then you can say to the people that invested their money, oh, you made a profit on that. Do you want to make another one? But if they don't make a profit, or they only sort of break even, it's not going to happen, is it? So you do need your support, especially for the lower budget independent movies, because the big cinema films on the cinema, they're making money. It's these ones that are struggling. And that's why you're not getting many of these movies anymore.
Yeah, I fully agree. And I cannot say that enough, is that, like, I've already got my digital copy pre-ordered for Accident Man, Hitman's Holiday, already pre-ordered. I'm ready to go there. And then I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray when it drops on Blu-ray, because that's
good for you, Matt.
Media. So we're going to support you full front over here. So that's what I'll be pushing throughout. So, but yeah, I just want to wrap it up and just thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. You've been a delight. You always a delight. Everybody needs to see Accident Man, Hitman's Holiday. It's incredible. It's so much fun. And the fight with, I can't say it enough, the fight with Andy Long is incredible. The speed of that fight is nonstop. It's
Thanks, man.
Incredible stuff. So
appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for taking the time, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your interviews and your press junket as you go through it. I'll be sharing all of it as it goes out. So,
cheers, Matt. Appreciate it, mate.
All right. Thank you so much, Scott. I will hopefully talk to you soon.